The time is now 9 a.m. The date is July 1, 2025. We will call to order the meeting for mayor and council for the city of Statesboro, Georgia. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Sherry Barr.
Thank you, Mayor. Allow me to speak a word of prayer. May we be instruments of peace. May the meditations of our hearts and the words of our minds, the words of our mouths, contribute to the peace and the love in and among us. May it be so. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comments in regards to the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we move down to agenda item 4, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the approval of the minutes from our June 17th work session, council minutes, as well as our executive session from the same date. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll go down to agenda item 5, which is the second reading and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2025-01, or ordinance amending the Unified Development Code. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember, we've been, you adopted the new Unified Development Code almost 2 years ago. And in that period of time, it was a rewrite of a 40-some-year-old zoning subdivision ordinance. And after, I'll just say, put it this way, after trying on that new Unified Development Code, there need to be some tweaks. And so basically, what you've seen, there were some Scrivener errors and there were some adjustments that we need to make, or staff felt important, like the open spaces and things of that nature. And so this is the second reading of this Unified Development Code, and we do recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any feedback from council? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 6, which is consideration of a motion to accept and approve the renewal of the partnership between our agreement for retail development and small business recruitment with Georgia Southern University Research and Service Foundation Incorporated for a 1-year term beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 26. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, 3 years ago, we entered into an agreement with the Business Innovation Group and Georgia Southern University for our small business recruiting. Well, that 3 years has come and gone.
Wow.
And so in working with the university, also working with the Development Authority of Bullock County, I don't recommend we do another 3-year lease, 3-year agreement. What I recommend is a 1-year agreement with the university. And the reason I recommend that is when we initiated this program, we were really trying to figure out where the position needed to sit. And the university gave us an opportunity to get it started and all. But I also saw a tie between the Development Authority of Bullock County. The small business recruiter and Benji, they work very close together. The small business recruiter did a lot of responses to proposals that came from, or questions that came from potential developers. But the small business recruiter being located at the university also provides opportunities for the university to be able to count the efforts toward EDA grants. And so there was some benefit to them. And I think Dominique talked about a number about $80 million that affects funds that are possible for our community. And so we met with Dr. Marrero, Benji, Dominique, and we talked about how going forward we could work together. So But yet still, I think the position, it would be good to tie the position closer to our economic development efforts, our industrial recruitment efforts, although it's small business. And so for this year, I'm recommending that we leave the position in place at the university, and Dr. Marrero and them have agreed, and Dominique Calvi have agreed, with the recommendation to approve this agreement today, but also with the recommendation that on July 1, 2026, that position would transition to the Development Authority of Bullock County. It will give the city a tie with the Development Authority, something that we've wanted for a number of years because we work so closely together, and it brings all the economic development together. And so today I recommend that you approve this agreement with Georgia Southern University. There may be an MOU that will come forward from the Development Authority and Georgia Southern for some activities moving forward, but we need to be a party with that as well. But for today, I do recommend approval. In effect, we've been funding about $125,000 a year for that position. The gross number for that position is somewhere around $200,000 worth of investment, including our funding, but what the university puts in it as well. So we recommend approval today, and I'm sorry to be so long with y'all. I didn't get home till 12:30 this morning, so I might be a little delirious, but I'm okay.
That's
Get
fine.
fine. Thank you.
All right, so we want to open it up to council for any discussion. Any discussion by council?
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Pete, so when we look at it again in a year, it'll come back to us to look at the financial arrangement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let us move on to agenda item 7, consideration of a motion to approve the restricted sales agreement with Hyundai Motor America. Mr. Penny, could you give us a little insight on
Mayor, members of the council, we received a letter, an email, you received an email from Hyundai offering 2 electric vehicles to the city of Statesboro to be put in our fleet to be utilized. And if we think about it, Hyundai is 30 miles from City Hall. They're making new electric vehicles. This is a great opportunity for them to place these vehicles in our fleet, but it's marketing for them as well. But it provides us an opportunity to utilize 2 vehicles for $1 a year, for $1. And so what we bring before you, they did ask for some hold harmless agreements, some insurance things, and we've consulted with our risk management folks, and we will present to them what we can do from a insurance standpoint. But we think it'd be a great opportunity for the city to take advantage of this world-known industry that's sitting right in our, I don't want to say our back door, they're sitting in our front door. And so we will be a partner with Hyundai. And so means we're gonna have to put some charging stations out here because those vehicles don't run unless they get charged. But hopefully they will accept the agreement that the alternate proposal that we will present to them. And the mayor, the other thing, like say, I don't know if any of the other communities have agreed to this yet, but we like the fact that we'll be maybe one of the first to enter into an agreement with Hyundai to bring their vehicles into our fleet.
it? Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
You mean the test drive?
Y'all can't drive these. You don't have to have a CDL to drive these. Y'all want to drive big fire trucks? No, but you can drive these.
I know where we can go race them.
Wait a minute. That's gonna make the insurance requirement go up.
Lord. If there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve agenda item 7?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna go down to agenda item 8, consideration of a motion to approve staff to enter negotiations with EMC Engineering Services Incorporated to perform engineering design services for the Creek on the Blue Mile project, Project STM R-34. This work is being funded by Chief of State Direct Investment Grant Funds. Mr. Nick.
Mayor, members of the council, Keely sitting out in the audience, and when we sit in meetings with Keely, I've been here 6 years, and she likes to remind us that she's been working on the Creek of the Blue Mile for more than 12 years, and so we're both getting older, and so one day we'd like to see this project get done. Last year, we recommended that we separate, terminate our relationship with Freeze and Nichols, so we had to go back through our RFQ process. In addition to just us going through the process, we also had, the state was involved in the review of RFQs. And so we had several proposals that were submitted. I think there were 2 that we evaluated. And I'm just put this out there. We're recommending that that you authorize us to negotiate with EMC to serve as project engineer to move this project forward. There are a number of requirements, federal requirements that we have to meet in order to be able to utilize the federal funds. The bridge money, we have bridge money from DOT has agreed to pay for all those 3 bridges. And when I say 3, we're talking about Main Street, Fair Road, and we're talking about Isidore, this culvert. To pay for that, but you have to check all their blocks, and you have to go through what they call the PDP process. So all of that goes into this, and so the other part of it is Chuck and EMC has been involved in this project as long as Keely has, I think. And we recommend you authorize us to move forward, and I think that's good enough. But I will say, if we did not use someone that had been involved with the actual design engineering before, we would have to start completely over. I've been in 6 years. We don't have that kind of time. We need to move on with the process. So we do recommend that you authorize us to negotiate with EMC.
Thank you, Mr. Green. We're gonna open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We want to go to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of 23 portable radios and all required batteries, programming, warranty, and licensing in the amount of $145,625.42. Mr. Bennett.
I really can't add anything there. I recommend approval.
Okay, good deal. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve a mutual aid agreement between the City of Statesboro Fire Department and the City of Meadow Fire Department. Mr. Bennett.
Mayor, members of the council, Happy New Year. The day is July 1st, so this is New Year. And I was gonna say this later in my report. We're recommending mutual aid agreements, but today's a new day in Bullock County. Today, Bullock County is completely responsible for the fire district. No more automatic aid. However, this agreement is with Meta, but you have 2 other mutual aid agreements that will follow. So Chief recommended that we have mutual aid agreements with Meta. And I think, was it Meta that had that big fire?
Yeah.
And we provided mutual aid to them. And so we do recommend approval of mutual aid agreement with Meta. And that's for our benefit. If we have a major fire in our community, and all of our equipment was engaged in this particular fire, we got backup, other communities would come to our aid. So we do recommend approval. Chief is here if you have any questions.
Matter has helped us in the past also. I'll just add, we've helped, but it's been reciprocal.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
All right, any discussion by council?
Yeah, quick question. What's the difference between,
Mutual and
mutual aid agreement and automatic aid agreement?
Okay, the
Yes,
automatic,
you just,
very to be clear. With the automatic aid, in our case, in Statesboro and Bullock County, when a call came in for a fire call, with the automatic aid, our trucks rolled, at the same time that Bullock County fire trucks roll. It doesn't mean we have to roll with every piece of equipment. I think it commits at least one engine company, with the crew. And so when we were doing the fire district, I'm sure that we didn't just respond with one truck. We went full blazes. But in what we recommended was that with the ending of the fire district agreement, that we end automatic aid. Because what would happen is we would have only sent one engine company and would have had one crew out at a fire. And more than likely, we may have been there first and they would have been waiting for support to come in. And so, in this case, now when the call comes in with mutual aid, they call us after they get on the scene and they determine that they need some assistance. But also, if for some reason all of their vehicles were tied up at some at other events, we could roll before they get on the scene. If they assess that we can't get there, please come. We'll send our people with mutual aid.
but they have to call us and say, we need your
If
help.
they will have to let us know. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yes, sir. Basically, an automatic aid is an immediate response. Mutual aid is a requested response.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion by council?
Yes, skimming it looks like they're not exactly the same agreement. Is that just due to the size of the other organizations, or why is it not common?
Honestly, Miss Barr, it was, Chief Simmons and Pooler sent that one, and I sent the one, I'm sorry. Chief Simmons with Pooler sent the agreement, and we just tweaked his version. And then Chief Douglas and Metter, I sent the one that we typically use, but they basically say the same thing. I had both reviewed by Kane there, and there's no issues. They basically say the same thing. Chief Simmons is just a little lengthier.
And similar with Bullock County
Bullock County is similar to Metter's, yes.
that we created, and they've already seen it, okay with?
Yes. Chief Tapley and I went back and forth and was good with all the terms.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So,
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we go down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve a mutual aid agreement between the city of Statesboro Fire Department and the city of Pooler Fire Department. Anything to add to this, Mr. Payne?
No, sir.
All right, is there any discussion by council? Seeing that it is none, is there a motion to approve?
so moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. All right, let's move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve a mutual aid agreement between the city of Statesboro Fire Department and the Bullock County Fire Department. Mr. Penny, anything to add?
No, sir.
All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 13, other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council?
I'm sure Mr. King will talk about, but I'm very proud of everybody who was able to join the delegation and go and represent Statesboro. Such an energetic, there was a lot of crowd feedback. I think y'all did a really good job for us. Thank you and Candy and everybody who participated in that.
All right, so we'll go down to agenda item 14, city manager comments.
Mayor, members, council, thank you. Yesterday I was worried if I was gonna get back because we weren't supposed to land till about 10:30, and thankfully we landed on time. So before I go into that, I wanted to just call to your attention items from FYI, tomorrow we are doing a groundbreaking at Whitesville Park. And that's at 10:30. And so we invite, the mayor will be there, all council, the public, to this, I'm gonna say historic occasion. It's a big event for the community, for the neighborhood, and so we look forward to that. Just want to also lift up, in your package, there's some information about the cafe, which is the fire apparatus that we use. And what we're talking about is transferring that vehicle and that organization piece over to Bullock Emergency Management Agency. For many years, that has been a part of the Statesboro Fire Department, but we believe it would serve all of us, the entire county, better for it to be located with that Bullock Emergency Management Agency. Also, just to remind you, our art park is sort of hard to believe that it's already been a year since we placed the first art. So some of that art's gonna need to rotate out, and so I just want to remind you of that. One thing that's not in here, when you did the radios this morning for the fire department, for the police department, I just want to let you know, we're gonna need to bring some of those, I believe at the next meeting, we'll be bringing forward a similar agreement for the fire department. And I say this because I need to be transparent with the mayor and council. We had to make a commitment with Motorola for the purchase of those radios in order to prevent an increase. But we'll be bringing it to you next time, probably save a couple of $1,000s per radio. And so just want you to be aware of that. Also need to make you aware that on July 9th at 5:30 p.m. At the Ogeechee Technical Community College at the Jack Hill Building, there will be a presentation. The Joint Development Authority had a housing report done for our region, and recognizing that with all that's going on with Hyundai, they've done a number of studies. They've done workforce development, and so they've done a housing study. And so they want to share, they've invited you, Bullock County and the Board of Education to hear that report. Mayor, I think we also asked them to provide a virtual link. So if you can't be there, that you can still participate and hear the report live. So that will happen at 5:30 on July 9th. So if you can attend that meeting, members of the mayor and members of the council ask you to do so. I will be there, staff will be there, and I just think it's important to hear what type of pressures we're having in our community when it relates to housing. And so all the development that we're seeing, there's been a shortage of houses. And so now we're at a place that hopefully with development coming and with the workforce, you have 16,000 jobs that are going to be available in this community as a result of Hyundai. And that's just Hyundai, probably in the next 3 to 5 years. And so people have to have some place to live, and we hope they choose to live in Statesboro and Bullock County. And so I want to make you aware of that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the All-American City competition. First, I want to thank our sponsors. I'm going to miss them. Georgia Power, Bullock Development Authority, DSDA, the Statesboro Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, Ogeechee Technical College Foundation, there may be some, Georgia Southern University, the City of Statesboro, sponsor. It was not a cheap project, but we appreciate all of those sponsors coming forward because our city was on a national stage. No, we were not selected as an All-American City, but we are All-American City finalists. And I want to declare today, the City of Statesboro is an All-American City. the city of Statesboro one day will be designated All-American City. Want to appreciate the leadership of Georgia Southern. I want to appreciate the leadership of Edie Grace. Edie wrote the application. She was our team lead at the event. Edie just turned 24 years old. And so that is a big statement. But I also want to appreciate Dr. Candace Bach, who leads the Institute of Vibrant and Engaged Communities. That is a big asset in our community, and that comes from Georgia Southern. That helps create that tie. But the work they did was phenomenal. But I also want to say the work they did represented what we've been doing. VOAD has been around longer than I've been here. But then all the things that the application was based on, VOAD being one, the boards and commissions that y'all appoint, Greenboro, Warrenboro, Youth Commission, all of those things were important parts of our application. And then all of the youth initiatives that we have in our community. I also wanted to do a shout out for the young people. We had 32, 33 people that went to Denver. We took Eden, Layla, Grace, Jamerson, Jalen, Mason, Jacory. Those were our youth. If you have not seen the presentation, it's online. Those folks made us proud. And when we were practicing, we talked about what was going to be our wow moment. And I said that was going to be our wow moment. When those young people stood forward, I mean, the judges, even though we weren't selected, they were, oh Lord, their heads, I thought their necks were going to break because they were so into it. And other communities said, we just knew Statesboro was going to be All-American City. But let me tell you why I don't think we were selected as an All-American City. And this is why I asked Andy and Keelan and them to wait toward this end. The projects that were selected had more to do with environmental sustainability. And I would say this to y'all, I'll probably be retired when this happens. The communities that have been doing things with waterway improvements, cleaning up and investing in their waterways and stormwater were the communities that won. Jacksonville, North Carolina. Kinston, North Carolina, one of my former cities. And Carborough, North Carolina. I couldn't believe that those three communities out of North Carolina were going to win. Didn't think that could happen, but they did. Tallahassee, Florida. All of them were, it was about environment. Now the thing changes every year. So the theme next year might align more with what we were doing. But if we had finished the Creek on the Blue Mile, it would have been a game changer. I'm just telling you that. Because that's what it was about. It was about that type of thing. And those were the communities that won. The time that we spent in Denver was a really good investment. It was really about learning from each other. It was about learning from each other, and I'm just telling you that sitting in those rooms, we were talking about democracy. We were talking about, and democracy, I know we get focused on democracy on the national level, but we are democracy. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where people have a chance to really impact their lives and their community. This is about community building. There was one thing that I learned about, and I'm gonna put it out into the atmosphere. The first morning on Friday morning, we were talking about participatory budgeting. And Andy, you could have seen my face, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But as we sat there and we talked about it and had interaction, and I sat with some folks from Snyder, Texas, I can't remember and folks from California, and Tina Patterson walked past me and she said, I wish we would do that in the state run on. But as we talked more with the lady that was presenting about participatory budgeting, it's not the budgeting it could be the budgeting that we do every day. But there are opportunities in our community, and I laid out to them an opportunity for us to have participatory budgeting in our community. And to give you an example, Georgia is set up for this perfectly. We have T-SPLOS, we have SPLOS. We just went through negotiations with the county on SPLOS. The things that we felt were important didn't get picked. But to have had citizens in the room, at least not in the final decision making, but in the front, identifying what is really important to our community is participatory budgeting. We agreed, and the mayor, we were there, Ms. Barr, and we were saying to the county, we know the jail is important too, but we need to give our community more than just a jail. We need to give our citizens recreational facilities. We're a community that's 700 square miles, and we don't have one indoor recreational facility for our youth or for our youth. We have Honey Bowling, but we're talking about for $15 million, we could have done that. If we had citizens engaged in that process, because they have to vote. So they ought to have a say on the front end. That's participatory budgeting. And I just simply say, I'm an old dog. Y'all, today marked 44 years for me being in local government. Well, you can still teach old dog new tricks. There are opportunities for us to engage our citizenry in decision making so that we can be a better community. We're already on our way. But that was just one example of the discussions that were going on. Chelsea, Massachusetts. Thing I picked up from Chelsea, they have this model of how agencies work together to address crime and drugs and things of that nature. And it's a very coordinated effort. And they work together and they won. But they also had the environmental piece in there. One thing that I picked up from Chelsea, among many things, is they use concrete. And I sent a text to Jason. They use concrete in their sidewalk projects that reduce the radiation of heat. Think about that in Statesboro, Georgia, when it's 97 degrees and you got all this concrete. So we need to be looking at, can we do that in our community? We had people, when they heard about our projects, folks wanted to take our mayor, and some of y'all might say they can have them, but no, they can't. But they learned, and other communities were saying, we want to come to Statesboro. The value of the trip is not just about being designated as an all-American city. We were exchanging information. We were helping each other. We were learning from each other. And I'm going to stop, but it was a great experience. We will do it again. We will be an all-American city. We are an all-American city. We just haven't gotten that designation. And we did get a nice plaque, Mayor, and I'm going to stop. And that's all I got to say.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. I do want to take a point of privilege if the council will allow it. And I don't talk about my faith much publicly. But privately, I'll let you know where I stand. And so one thing that I know often, our community is concerned about the change. We have folks concerned about growth. And y'all hear me say all of the time, a city that's not growing is a city that's dying. And with that being said, I want us to kind of roll back the clock. And what was popping out to me right now is Proverbs 29:18, the first part of that verse where it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And why is that important to me? It's important to me because in January of 2018, when I stepped into this role, we talked about a vision of what our community could be. At that time, more than half of the people that lived in the city of Statesboro lived in poverty. More than half. Today, we've reduced that by 30%, from 51% down to 37.2%, and we are still working on it. How did that happen? Jobs are coming in and more people are going to work. How do we know this? Because on that same day, the city of Statesboro had double-digit unemployment. Today, it is 3%. What some folks see as growth, concerned about growth, I see it as a blessing. Because without the growth, we would not have the jobs that's transforming the lives of the people that's living in our community, that's lifting folks out of poverty, that's lifting folks out of poverty. And there has to be a vision for the future that incorporates a path where our young people do not have to move to Atlanta, to Charlotte, to Raleigh, to all these other cities, where we could keep our young people home and allow them to invest into the community that we love. And here's the truth of the matter. The city of Statesboro is ready for this growth. We've been preparing. We've built the infrastructure. We've made the necessary hard decisions in order for us to take advantage of this moment. And this team is stepping into its place, and we are leading not just within our region, but within the nation. Because when we were out there in Denver, folks wanted to know, what were you guys doing to change your community like that? And sometimes I fear that we're so close to the blessings that God has given us that we take His grace for granted. Because other communities wish they had the jobs coming in the way that we do. And this is not just within the state of Georgia, but across the nation. There are communities that are struggling. Now, do we have an issue with affordability when it comes to homes? Yes, we are addressing that. Is it going to be fixed overnight? No, it's not. But a plan and a vision has been set forth where we can bring home affordability under control. But it's going to take all of us working together. And that means that we have to make investments into things that we have not in the past. We're right. We need an indoor facility for our young people and for our community. But there's other things that we need to invest into in order for our community to grow. And what I say to you is this, is that we, like the farmer, have a season. We have a season of tilling. We have a season of planting. We have a season of cultivating. And we have a season of harvesting. The work that we do today is not about us. It's about our young people. It's about our children, our grandchildren. New traditions, new opportunities are being created for them that's going to shape their futures. And what I would love for them to be able to do is have a city that they're proud to call their own, and they are proud to say that they're able to get educated and secure an opportunity to take care of their families in the very communities that they've grown up. Because I shudder at the thought of all of the talents that this community has lost, that's gone on to other communities and are making great contributions. Let us take care of our own. Let us work to build a community where we continue to reduce poverty, where we're continuing to put people to work, and we're continuing to build a brighter future for our people. Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people will perish. Okay, and that's it. Any public comments? Lynn?
I'll get all 3 minutes. No, I don't need it. Good morning, Mayor and City Council. I'll just give you, number one, thank you for including VOAD in that presentation in Denver. It's something that we're very proud of, and as a vice chair of the VOAD and one of the trustees of Bullock Strong, I just want to let you all know that we have rented an office downtown over at the corner of Vine and South Main, and we will soon be staffing that office with at least one person, if not two. We are still in what VOAD considers in the American Red Cross long-term recovery.
Okay.
We are still dealing with clients who did not qualify for FEMA dollars or do not have the insurance to help rebuild their homes. Corey Kemp and I were out a couple of weeks ago at one of the trailer parks looking at one of the homes that needed repair to the roof, and one of our people on our board called the roofer, and before Corey and I could leave, that roofer was there looking at it to see how it can be fixed. So we're very proud of VOAD. We'll have some big announcements coming. I know talking to Dwayne Grice shortly, he said you're 4 days out there. He is so tired.
Yeah, we all.
So thank you all for coming back. But, just to give you a little update on VOAD, that we are moving forward, and we've got some interesting times ahead of us to help serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, we'll move down to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss real estate in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Chief?